We did it. We did it, bourbon fans. Look, I don't even know where to This was going to be short and ranty. I apologize. But if you're into any of these opinions or you agree with me even a little bit, leave an angry emoji down below. Hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps me out and soothes the pain that this is causing me. Because I came across this today. This is a newest edition of Jefferson's Ocean, aged at sea. Now it's cut with New York water. And Jefferson's Ocean to me was already a bit of a gimmick. It seems I can buy the idea of it sloshing around above the equator, below the equator. Age is a little bit different than if it's sitting still in the warehouse. But if you're really telling me like it's this mind-blowingly different taste of bourbon and whiskey as opposed to the guys who do just age in a warehouse, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. And it just sounds like it's a crazy expense to get a very, very small difference in flavor. But to each their own. That's why those bottles are relatively expensive. But this one now is adding another layer to it where it's like, oh my God. And I love minutia. That's why we're all nerds about whiskey. It's why we started YouTube channels and Facebook pages and Instagram pages and everything dedicated to our love and our collecting of whiskey, because we do like to break it down, mash bills, which warehouse it was in, which part of Kentucky, all this stuff. We get into that nerdy stuff. But I mean, at some point, I feel like we're exploiting the customer base with these weird gimmicks and hooks to convince them that this is a totally different product or experience when it's not. And I love localization. I'm all for a New York edition, a Chicago edition, a Louisville edition, an Atlanta edition of whiskey. But you don't have to convince me that it's like, oh, made with Chicago asphalt in the warehouse while at age. No, just tell me, just put a Chicago flag on the bottle. Tell me it'll raise money for charity. Look at like what Woodford does for the Kentucky Derby. It's literally just Woodford Reserve whiskey. It's got a different picture on it, different artwork, a little bit of a collectible bottle. It's not really any more expensive than the regular bottle, but they just make it feel different. So they sell usually a little bit more of them. That's fine. But if you're going to try to convince me some teeny tiny thing, and again, I love minutia. I love figuring out how old it is, how intense the winters were, and everything like that. The different kind of seasoning on the barrel. But like, if you're gonna try to convince me, this is like the Kentucky limestone water. I'm sorry, really good, well-made bourbon from beginning to end, made with Kentucky water versus Wyoming water versus Indiana water versus Texas water. I'm sorry, there's a lot more as a total picture that is going to make that whiskey better. It ain't the water. The water is not the linchpin that we think it is. As long as it's not poisonous and you have a good production process, your whiskey will be good. It just feels a little exploitative. It's a hook. I get it. I come from a world of gimmicks. I just think if this is what we're relying on for a new product line or new ideas in bourbon, we have so far beyond jumped the shark. Maybe it's time to go back to the roots a little bit more. That's my rant for the day. Please like, please subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts down below. Is this just a gimmick? Or is this an actually interesting product extension or hook for people who are interested? See you on the next one.